Please, don't drink the champagne. You must leave now.
What is this? Why?
Evelyn Hart had been working at the Grand Sterling Hotel for 3 years, long enough to recognize when something was wrong. At 28, she'd developed the survival instincts all service workers cultivate, reading body language, sensing tension, noticing details others missed. Tonight, working the hotel's exclusive restaurant during a high-profile business dinner, every one of those instincts was screaming that something dangerous was unfolding. The man at table 7 was Nathaniel Cross, CEO of Cross Industries, a name she recognized from business magazines in the break room. He was perhaps in his early 40s, handsome in that polished way of powerful men, wearing a perfectly tailored gray suit. He'd arrived alone for what appeared to be a business dinner with 3 associates, men who'd shown up 15 minutes after him and ordered expensive wine immediately. Evelyn had served their table twice already, and something about the dynamic felt wrong. The 3 men were too eager, their smiles too bright, their attention to Nathaniel too focused. And when she'd brought the wine, she'd seen one of them, the one in the navy suit, add something from a small vial to Nathaniel's glass while the others distracted him with conversation. She'd frozen for just a moment, pretending to adjust silverware at a nearby table while she watched. The man had been quick, practiced, clearly expecting not to be noticed by the waitstaff. After all, service workers were essentially invisible to men like him, but Evelyn had noticed, and now she had to decide what to do about it. She approached the table with water, her heart pounding. "Can I get anyone anything else?" "We're fine," the man in navy said dismissively, barely glancing at her. Nathaniel looked up and smiled politely. "Thank you. We're good for now." Evelyn's mind raced. She couldn't make a scene. If she was wrong, she'd lose her job. If she was right but handled it poorly, these men might get violent. But if she did nothing, and something happened to this man... She moved to clear an empty bread basket from the table, and as she reached past Nathaniel, she quickly slipped a folded napkin onto his lap. Their eyes met for just a second, and she gave the tiniest shake of her head before moving away. She watched from across the room as Nathaniel shifted, feeling the napkin, then casually unfolded it below the table's edge. She'd written quickly in the kitchen, "Don't drink it and leave now, trust me." "Your waitress." Evelyn saw his expression change subtly. He glanced at his wine glass, then at his companions, then back at her across the room. She gave another small nod, trying to communicate urgency without drawing attention. Nathaniel set down the napkin and stood smoothly. "Gentlemen, I apologize. I just received an urgent message. I need to take this call outside. Please excuse me for a moment." The 3 men exchanged glances, clearly frustrated. "Can't it wait? We were just about to discuss the merger terms." "I'm afraid not." "Please enjoy your wine. I'll return shortly." Nathaniel moved away from the table, heading toward the exit, but he didn't go outside. Instead, he crossed directly to Evelyn, who was standing near the server station. Before she could speak, he took her hand gently but firmly. "Come with me," he said quietly, his voice urgent but controlled. "Right now. I'm working. I'll handle it. Come with me." He was already moving, pulling her gently along, his grip warm and insistent. Evelyn followed, her heart racing, as Nathaniel led her quickly through the restaurant toward the hotel lobby. Behind them, she heard raised voices as the 3 men realized what was happening. Nathaniel spoke rapidly to the hotel manager who was passing through the lobby. "Call security immediately. There are 3 men at table 7 who just attempted to drug me. My attorney will be in contact about reviewing security footage. I need them detained." The manager's eyes went wide. "Mr. Cross, of course. Right away." Nathaniel turned to Evelyn, his hand still holding hers. "Are you okay? Did they see you warn me?" "I don't think so. I tried to be subtle." Evelyn was shaking now that the adrenaline was catching up with her. "What were they trying to do to you?" "My best guess? Drug me, get me to sign documents while impaired, possibly record me saying things I'd never say sober. Business rivals using dirty tactics to steal proprietary information or compromise a merger negotiation." His expression darkened. "Or worse. I've had threats recently. This could have been something more serious. I saw one of them pour something into your wine. Evelyn said. "The man in the navy suit. I wasn't sure if I should say something or how to warn you without causing a scene. You did exactly right. You quite possibly saved my life, at minimum saved me from a serious threat." Nathaniel squeezed her hand gently, seeming to realize he was still holding it. "I'm sorry for dragging you away from your work. I was worried they might realize you'd warned me and try to retaliate." "I hadn't thought of that," Evelyn admitted, feeling cold. "Which is why you're coming with me until security handles this. I'm not leaving you exposed to potential blowback from doing the right thing." He looked at her seriously. "What's your name?" "Evelyn." "Evelyn Hart." "Well, Evelyn Hart, you're officially under my protection until we know it's safe. Let me buy you coffee at least, since you probably won't be able to return to your shift tonight anyway." Hotel security arrived quickly, along with police Nathaniel must have called. Evelyn gave her statement about what she'd witnessed, and the security footage confirmed her account. Clear video of the man adding something to Nathaniel's glass. The 3 men were detained. The substance was identified as a powerful sedative, and Evelyn's manager told her to take the rest of the night off with pay. "This is incredibly serious," the detective told Nathaniel. "Given the recent threats against you and your company, this could be part of a larger conspiracy. We'll need to investigate thoroughly." After the police finished taking statements, Nathaniel turned to Evelyn. "I know you said you're off shift, but would you actually join me for that coffee? I'd like to properly thank the woman who saved me from whatever those men had planned." They went to an all-night cafe a few blocks from the hotel, somewhere neutral and safe. Over coffee that turned into an early breakfast as hours passed, Nathaniel told Evelyn about the hostile takeover attempts against his company, about business rivals who'd become increasingly aggressive, about the loneliness of being successful enough that everyone wanted something from him. "You don't even know me," he said, looking at her with something like wonder. "You had no idea who I was or what I was worth. You just saw someone in danger and took a huge personal risk to warn me. Do you know how rare that is?" "I'd like to think most people would do the same," Evelyn said. "They wouldn't. Most people look away. They decide it's not their problem, or they're scared of consequences, or they convince themselves they must be misunderstanding what they're seeing. You acted. You trusted your instincts, and you acted, even though you could have lost your job or worse." Evelyn stirred her coffee, uncomfortable with the intensity of his gratitude. "I've been a waitress for 10 years. We're invisible to people like those men. They never imagined someone like me would notice or care enough to do anything about it. That's their mistake." "Tell me about your life," Nathaniel said. "Not just tonight. Who is Evelyn Hart?" So she told him. About growing up in a small town, about coming to the city with dreams of being an artist, about reality crushing those dreams and settling into service work that paid the bills but didn't feed her soul. About her small apartment and her cat named Monet and her sketchbooks full of drawings she never showed anyone. "Why did you stop pursuing art?" Nathaniel asked. "Because pursuing art doesn't pay rent. Because galleries told me I was talented but not commercial enough. Because eventually you have to be practical and accept that dreams are for people who can afford them." Evelyn heard the bitterness in her own voice. "Sorry, you didn't ask for my life story." "I did, actually. And I'm wondering why someone with your observational skills and courage is wasting those gifts, serving people who don't appreciate you. Because people like me don't have a lot of options." Nathaniel was quiet for a moment. "What if I gave you options? What if I offered you a job at my company?" Evelyn laughed, thinking he was joking, but his expression was serious. "I'm not kidding. I need people I can trust, people with integrity and sharp instincts. Those qualities are more valuable than any resume or degree. You proved tonight that you have both." He pulled out a business card and wrote something on the back. "This is my personal number. Think about it. Call me if you're interested in discussing opportunities that might actually value what you bring to the table." Evelyn took the card, overwhelmed and skeptical. "I'm a waitress. I don't have business experience or connections or—" "You have judgment, courage, and the ability to see what others miss. Those are the things I can't train. Everything else can be learned." Nathaniel met her eyes directly. "I'm serious about this, Evelyn. You saved me tonight. Let me return the favor by offering you a chance at something better." She should have dismissed it as wealthy person guilt or a temporary impulse. But 3 days later, when When her manager cut her hours and she had to decide between electricity and groceries, Evelyn called the number on the card. 6 months later, she was working as a special consultant for Cross Industries, using her keen observational skills to assess business partners, read room dynamics, and identify potential threats or opportunities others missed. Nathaniel had hired her on a trial basis, and she'd proven invaluable immediately, spotting discrepancies in contracts, identifying dishonest negotiation tactics, and providing insights that saved the company millions. "You're like a human lie detector," Nathaniel told her after she correctly identified 3 board members who were selling company secrets. "I've never met anyone who reads people the way you do." Service workers have to. We learn to read micro-expressions, tone shifts, body language. It's survival. Evelyn smiled. "I just applied those skills to a different context." But something else had developed alongside their professional relationship. Long meetings had turned into longer dinners. Collaboration on projects had become genuine friendship. And somewhere along the way, Evelyn had fallen in love with this man who'd seen value in her when no one else had. "I need to be honest with you," Nathaniel said one evening in his office after everyone else had left. "When I asked you to come with me that night, when I took your hand and pulled you away from that table, I told myself it was about protecting you from retaliation. But the truth is, from the moment I read your note, I knew you were someone extraordinary, someone I wanted in my life. Not just for business, but for everything. Nathaniel, I work for you. There are power dynamics, which is why I'm telling you this now and giving you complete freedom to respond honestly. If you're not interested, nothing changes professionally. You're too valuable to lose as a colleague. But if there's any possibility you feel what I feel, I'd like the chance to explore that, outside of work, as equals." Evelyn looked at this powerful man who'd given her opportunities she'd never imagined, who treated her opinion with respect, who'd seen past her uniform to the person beneath. "I feel it," she admitted. "I've been trying not to, trying to maintain professional distance, but yes, I feel it too." Their relationship unfolded slowly and carefully, mindful of the professional complications but unable to deny what had grown between them. Evelyn continued excelling in her position, proving her value had nothing to do with favoritism. And Nathaniel discovered that loving someone who'd proven they valued his life over their job security was different from anything he'd experienced before, a year after, the night she'd slipped him that warning. Nathaniel proposed in the same cafe where they'd had coffee until dawn. "You saved my life with a napkin and a note. You trusted your instincts, risked your job, and changed both our lives. Evelyn Hart, will you marry me and let me spend the rest of my life being grateful I ordered wine that night, and you were brave enough to warn me not to drink it?" "Yes," Evelyn said through tears. "But on one condition, you have to promise to always listen when I tell you something seems wrong. My instincts saved you once. I want to keep protecting you for the rest of our lives." "Deal," Nathaniel said, slipping the ring on her finger. The wedding was beautiful, and during the reception, Nathaniel gave a toast that made everyone cry. "My wife saved my life before she knew my name. She risked everything to warn a stranger about danger, expecting nothing in return. That tells you everything about her character. She saw someone in trouble and acted, not because it benefited her, but because it was right. I'm the luckiest man alive, not because I'm successful or wealthy, but because Evelyn Hart decided I was worth saving. And then she saved me again by showing me what real integrity looks like, by teaching me that the most valuable people are often the ones society treats as invisible. She changed my life twice, once with a warning and once with her love. The waitress who'd slipped a CEO a warning note had saved more than his life that night. She'd saved herself, too, from a future of being overlooked and undervalued, from believing her dreams were dead. And the CEO who'd grabbed her hand and said, "Come with me," had found something more valuable than any business deal. A partner who'd proven she valued his well-being over personal gain, who saw threats others missed, and who loved him not for his wealth or status, but for the man he became when someone finally showed him what genuine, selfless care looked like. Sometimes the most important warnings we receive come on napkins from strangers who have nothing to gain from caring. And sometimes, when we're brave enough to trust those warnings and wise enough to value the people who deliver them, we find that being saved is just the beginning of something far more precious. A love built on trust, courage, and the radical act of seeing each other's true worth. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below about a time when trusting your instincts changed everything. Your stories inspire us all.